After living in residence during first year, most students make the move off campus in second. Their neighborhood of choice? For many, a cluster of old, often run-down houses located just off campus in the legendary Student Ghetto. In recent years, though, the upkeep of this area by students, landlords, and the university has sparked heated debate. Now, the university is promoting a name change to rename the area the University District. To better understand why this change was initiated, how it will be implemented, and to see what residents of the area think, the Private Eye investigates. A few years back, Queen's administration made the decision to rename the Student Ghetto the Student Village. However, this new name failed to catch on, and everyone still refers to the area as the Ghetto. Its reputation for unkept houses and the party lifestyle continues. David Sinkinson, the Commissioner of Municipal Affairs at Queen's, set out a few months back to find a solution. He let us in on what his search entailed.
First of all, the actual name change was more than just my decision. This also came out of A.M.S. Assembly. I recommended to Assembly that the name should be changed from Student Village to University District. Now, why did I do this? Well, it kind of started at the beginning of my term as Municipal Affairs Commissioner. I got an email from a landlord in Kingston who said that they found the term Student Village offensive. And they found it offensive because it wasn't just students who live in the area. The other thing is that Student Village never really caught on. I don't think I knew any students, or with the exception, of course, of the Municipal Affairs Commissioner, who would actually refer to the area in which students live as the Student Village. Student Village never really, because it never caught on, never actually addressed the main problem, which is people using the term Student Ghetto or Ghetto. Obviously, there are some serious issues with the term Ghetto. Mostly in that ghetto it compares basically our housing situation, which depending on however you interpret it, could be good, bad, or otherwise, is still not comparable to one of a very horrific event in history. So in that way, I guess that's really why I wanted to go after this. And personally, it was always something that I thought it had really good intentions, it just never executed that well. The real issue with Student Village was that no substantive action was taken to support the name change. So I've decided to learn from this mistake and do my best to implement new things that which will help with this issue. First thing is that I'm introducing something called the Student Maintenance and Resource Team, or SMART. So the first thing they do is they provide a complimentary garbage cleanup service in a certain geographical area. So students don't have to pay for that, that just happens. So like we got your back on that. If you had a big party, you're a little tired the next morning, we'll probably show up and clean it, and you wouldn't even know. The other thing that they can do is if your landlord opts into the program, or if you can opt into it directly as well, we'll come to your property and we will basically cut the grass or rake the leaves or do some of that basic stuff that you might not be able to do, or in some cases are kind of unwilling to do, right? So like we want to help you out. And so that's the biggest thing. Now this year is kind of the training year for this. We're figuring out how feasible it is, if we can actually do it. But it really gets fully up and running in May of 2012. The service also runs over the summer, so if you're here during the summer as well, they'd be happy to do it for you. Another thing that we're doing is something called the Interactive Housing Map. And this is basically, we're going out and doing a massive survey of the area and collecting data on the houses to help keep students more informed of their choices when they're looking at properties. It'll all be displayed on a cool interactive map that you can click on. It'll give you the Google Street View. It's all color coded, so it's really easy to tell what's good and what's bad. So these are a couple of basic things that we reinforce the name change with actual substantive changes to the area. And that's fundamentally how we're going to change the vernacular and the culture of students in this area.
Landlords are the most common link between students and the university in regards to housing decisions. We talked to Trina Garrison, a landlord who has been in the business over a decade, to see what she thinks about Queen's students and the new name, the University District.
I'd have to say overall it's been primarily positive. Obviously sometimes there's a bad apple in the bunch, but generally for the most part, yes, it's been a positive experience. It primarily depends on attitude. Attitude of, for the most part, the students themselves and their own behavior, but I think also in terms of the community and how receptive the community is to being engaged in that whole idea. I understand perhaps why somebody thinks that the perception of the area would then be different. Do I truly believe that calling it one name versus another will change things to a great extent? No.
Students are the primary residents of the area, soon to be known as the University District. However, curious to see if students think that this name will catch on, we spoke with some around the neighborhood.
I think the new name of the University District will definitely not stick, because the Student Ghetto, it mostly just gets passed down through the students and not the university, and it's just going to be passed through the people a lot quicker than the university, and it'll be the ghetto.
The word student ghetto is already within the student vocabulary. I'm not about to start calling it any different. I don't think anyone else will. Even my little sister who's coming to Queens already knows that's what it's called, so future generations, they'll probably call it that too. Plus I like it, so I don't think anyone wants to give it up.
No, I don't think it'll stick. It's kind of something that's known at least across Ontario, especially from homecoming and stuff, and something like that I don't believe will change, especially not overnight.
With a new name, the university hopes to put a positive spin on an area whose reputation has endured a lot of negative attention in recent years. Ultimately, though, it's up to those residents of the area, people who seem quite committed to the name the Student Ghetto, to start fresh in the University District. More importantly, even if the name does change, will behaviors change too? This issue certainly puts that to the test. This has been Hatt reporting for the Private Eye.